Hello YouTubers, welcome to this how-to with me. This is going to be a fairly quick one, but these models are going to make it an exciting one indeed. So these are Plaguebearers of Nurgle for the Chaos Demons army. They came out very recently and I'm very excited about painting these ones up. There's a lot of character in actually building them. Sorry for knocking the camera there. You get to choose what heads and arms you want to put on these. And then not only that, but the bodies themselves all kind of clip on to the back section. And some of them have got some really cool features, like this one here is probably my favourite one because he's got a bit of elephantitis going on, which is pretty nasty. And if you pop over to Hazard Syndrome's channel, he's been doing Death Guard, and he's actually sculpted some elephantitis style legs on his Chaos Space Marines as well. So it kind of fits in with that if he's going to be adding these to his army. Also you've got kind of disjointed limbs that look really odd, like this one here particularly. And then you also get to choose things like little extra details such as the Nurgling currently tugging on an intestine. But there's also things like trophies from Fallen Dead and stuff like that, so it's pretty cool. But yeah, so this is them completely unpainted and unsprayed. Stage 1 of this project is going to be spraying the entire unit white. Now I've only got 10 here for now. There's lots of different variants you can make. This is just how I've built mine. Build them however you want, doesn't matter, they can be on round bases or square bases, but we're still going to spray them white. See you in a second, guys. So there we go, that's stage 1 done. So they're all spray painted white for now. Yeah, so what we're going to do next is we are going to take Athonian Camoshade from Games Workshop, the Citadel colour range, and we're going to put a liberal coating over the top of these using that. So I'm going to get started on one whilst you're here, why not? So we're going to use a Games Workshop wash brush, just because I actually find this is the best way to paint using the washes, because it's made to do it. So Athonian Camoshade's one of my favourite wash colours now, and you're about to find out why. So we've given them a wash. I've left them overnight as well, and this is kind of what you're left with. Yeah, my cat's moaning at me, it's early in the morning. But yes, this is what you're left with. Okay. So it looks quite good at the moment. And what I've done, I've actually gone over the bases whilst it's been drying with Dryad Bark from Games Workshop. I'm probably going to have to go over that with a thin coat of PVA, just because it started to fall off as I was painting it, which means I haven't given the PVA glue a chance to dry before I sprayed it. So there we go, but that's alright, that'll make it more solid anyway, so I'm not really too bothered by that. But yeah, so next up what we're going to do is I want to pick out all the metallic parts with some Games Workshop Iron Breaker paint, okay? And that will be pretty much the base coat's done, but no it won't. No, it won't, never mind. We're just going to go over it with Iron Breaker. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to leave you to watch the next part. See you in a second, guys. Now that Iron Breaker has been painted onto their swords and other metalwork, we're then going to move on to some other details. So what I want to do now is pick out any bone sections, and also pick out the mouths with a bit of black paint, just to tidy it up a bit, really. Give it a bit more contrast. So I'm going to paint the mouths black, and then I'm going to pick out any teeth or bone or anything like that with some Ushabti Bone paint from Games Workshop again. And yeah, and then I'll do another video just to update you on where I am. Okay. I went a bit further than I said I would. I'm enjoying these far too much. So basically I went ahead and did all the base coats because I figured I could just talk to you about them. So, what I did, I've got my notes here. So, on any hair or mouths, I painted them black as an undercoat. So I used Imperial Primer for that, but you could use any black paint. Okay. Then I said Ushabti Bone, I meant Zandri Dust. Do Zandri Dust on any sections of bone, or on any teeth, or on their claws. Like they've got some claws on their feet, some of them do. Okay. Rakarth Flesh was used on any head trophies or on any maggots. So this one is spewing up maggots, and those were painted Rakarth Flesh. What else did I do? Leadbelcher was used on the standard top and on any swords. I also picked out the strings on the standard top with black once I'd done that. I used Warplock Bronze on the bells, on the banner. That was 2 coats of Warplock Bronze, because they're going to get all verdigreed up. I painted the banner pole with Dryad Bark as well. And then any tongues or guts or flesh or sores were painted with Bugman's Glow. So the open sores, his tongue, all that, all that sort of stuff was painted out with Bugman's Glow. And that was the base coating stage done. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take a 50-50 mix of Nuln Oil and Agrax Earthshade, the Templars Crusade 01 mix, and we're going to put that on all the parts, on all the sections we've painted just there. The only thing we're going to try and not hit it with is the actual green skin sections. Okay, so I'll see you when I've done that then. Okay, so that's them with the Nuln Oil and Agrax Earthshade wash. They're really starting to look sexy now, so wow. Not really. They're looking cool though, they're coming along, and the nice thing about that wash is it's really broken them up. So if we get that to focus, yeah, and you can see that. I'd actually, I'd be happy to take these. If I had a tournament tomorrow, I'd be happy to take these just like this, but I want them to look good and like I've spent some time on them, like I haven't done the eyes, I haven't done the highlights and stuff. So the next stage for us guys is going to be doing some highlights on all the stuff that we've just done a wash on. I'll list all the colours you need to highlight those in the next section, but I'm just going to go ahead and get started. I'll take notes as I go along so I don't get anything wrong for you. Okay, so I'll see you then guys. These are really starting to come together now. They're coming into their own. So all I've done now is I've done some highlights. So I'm going to go through what I highlighted. So on any of the Rakarth Flesh, so that was things like the heads that they're carrying and stuff like that. I just highlighted that with Pallid Wych Flesh. And that is the same for the maggots and stuff like that that are coming out of their stomachs. Or one's got a mouthful of them. Okay, Bugman's Glow, I used that on a lot of the intestines and stuff like that. So for that, I used, what's the name of it? Cadian Fleshtone, highlighted with Kislev Flesh. Okay, so that, at the moment, looks pretty healthy. Don't worry, it's going to look horrible and rancid very soon. These are just kind of base colours. I've still got a lot of washes and shades and stuff like that to put down, and glazes and filters. Okay, so next up there was any of the black sections, so the hair on the heads. That was Eshin Grey highlighted, and then highlighted again just as an edge highlight. So it works especially well on the banner, just to kind of so you can see it from a distance, with Dawnstone. The banner itself, the stick, that was a base coat of Dryad Bark, highlighted with Gorthor Brown and then Baneblade Brown. So it was layered with Gorthor Brown, leaving the Dryad Bark only in the deepest recesses, and then edge highlighted with Baneblade Brown. And I'm really pleased with the look of that actually. What else did I do? Lastly, the banner itself, in the sections that aren't metallic, that is just a base coat of Nurgling Green, because it's a nice pale green, possibly paler than their skin tone, or a similar colour. It reminds me of the colour I used to paint some of my very first orcs which is quite funny. They were Blood Bowl orcs, but there we go. Cool, so that is that stage done. Next up we're going to start doing some washes and glazes. So we're going to start picking out boils, spots, pustules, their eyes, all that sort of stuff using washes. Might do a little bit of highlighting in there, but I'll tell you what happens as I go along. So, I'll see you in the next part. So that's the glazes and washes done. So, I just went round the model with Lamenters Yellow, which is the yellow glaze, over all the little spots and pustules and warts and stuff like that. That was on all of them, and then once that had dried I went over it with Bloodletter, but only a few of them. So you can see it just over that one. It was just around the outside, and on some of the groups of them I also put it into there because I thought that would be quite cool. Once that had dried, I did a purple wash over all the eyes just to bring those out, and yeah, that was it for that stage. We're now going to start doing things like painting the horns and the eyes, and then it'll be bases and weathering. So let's go for it. So we're pretty much done, guys, so you can actually leave it at this stage if you want to. I can't believe I've got 10 models painted in a day. That's pretty fantastic, to be honest, but there we go. Anyway, so what did I just do? I got Seraphim Sepia and I painted all their horns with that. I then went over that with Agrax Stone as a highlight, and then I highlighted it with Ushabti Bone, and that's really made it look pretty cool, I think. I painted the eyes with Ceramite White and then picked out a pupil with Abaddon Black, and I particularly like this one. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's pretty horrific actually. I'm reading quite a lot of Call of Cthulhu at the moment, so that's kind of playing into how I'm painting these quite a lot. But yeah, what else did I do? I don't think I did anything else in that stage. That was it, and it's just come out really nicely. Obviously I've painted the bases, that's what I did. The bases were painted with Dryad Bark, dry brushed with XV88, and then dry brushed with Tyrant Skull. The edges were then filled in with Abaddon Black. That's pretty much it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to satin varnish them, and I'm going to do some weathering on them just because I want to. You guys don't necessarily have to, you can stop here, but I'm going to carry on with some weathering as well. Okay guys, so I've got them all varnished. Luckily my varnish didn't fog, even though it's a kind of 8-year-old tin of Purity Seal. It's got the old logo and everything. But anyway, so I'm going to start doing some weathering. I'm going to show you how I do this. So I'm going to start off with some AK Interactive Rust Streaks. This stuff's fantastic. You end up with effects like this. I'm just going to do this on the banner. Now, it doesn't really make sense to do this first, but the reason I'm doing it is because I'm worried it might affect the rust effect that I'm going to use. I'm going to use both of these, but I'm going to show you how it's going to work. Okay, I'm also going to be using a sample of verdigris, which came from Model Mates. This will be coming out soon. I've been told I can use this on this video, and he just said to tell you guys it's not out yet, it will be coming out. I love it, it's really good stuff, and I'm looking forward to when you guys get to use it too. But I'm going to start off with the rust streaks. So the thing about the AK stuff is you do have to give it a really good shake. I reckon they could do with having a ball bearing inside, but they don't just yet. Sorry about that, out of focus guys. There you go. So yeah, give it a good shake until it's all mixed up. And you want to take a fine paintbrush, a really, really thin paintbrush. Open it up. And we'll take our model that we're going to do it on. Okay. So we want to draw irregular lines coming out of all the places there would be rust. More is probably better than less. Because it's oil based, you can take it away with white spirit. So you'll now need to get a flat brush. You can get one cheaply from an arts and crafts shop, and just a bit of white spirit, and then knock back some of those streaks a bit. Just make them a bit more natural. And we'll do layers and layers of this until it looks right. I'm just going to show you one layer. Okay. Actually doesn't look too bad. Okay, so I'm pretty pleased with that. So if we leave that there, then what I'll do is I'll clean up those brushes very quickly, and we'll see what we can do with the Model Mate stuff. Sorry about the fanfare that keeps happening every 5 seconds, but it's okay. Right, so what I'll do is I will turn this off and I'll go over to the Model Mate stuff just now then. Hi guys, sorry about the fuzziness in the last section. Didn't quite realise that I had no depth of field going on, or at least it wasn't very good depth of field. So we're going to start using the rust effect from Model Mates. Okay, so this stuff is water soluble. You don't need to use white spirit or anything with this. Okay, so give it a good shake. This one has got a ball bearing. Open it up and get some of this beautiful stuff out. I absolutely love this stuff. Right, now then, so we've got our banner dude. He's had his rust streaks put on, and now you're going to see why I wanted to do those first, because it means I know now where should have these big collections of rust. And it also means I can play around with it a bit more. So the thing I found with the Model Mate stuff is you want to try and not get paintbrush marks on it, because they'll show up. So try and avoid it. Sometimes you want it, sometimes you don't. As you can see here, I'm exaggerating the streaks that have already been put on using the AK Interactive stuff, because this has got a much stronger tone to it once it dries. As you can see what's happening down here, it's much more strong. Don't know if that's the right term, but we'll go with that. Okay, so that's the rust effects done on the banner, and I'm really pleased with that. I think that looks just the spot. I think that light green colour that's really disgusting really goes well with the orange of the rust, and I'm really pleased with that. I think combining the Model Mates stuff with the AK Interactive stuff's really worked for me. I was originally going to have this as a little bit of metal showing through, but I've decided to kind of just rust it up quite a lot, and I think it looks pretty nurgly. I think it does the job. I mean, obviously you can buff off a bit of the rust anyway. You can kind of chip at it a bit. So for like the spikes and stuff, that's really good. Right, so now I've done the banner, I've now got to go and do all the swords, and that is going to be pretty much just the same, except they're going to get a dry brush of Ironbreaker afterwards. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'm going to show you what the result looks like. But first, I'm actually going to do these bells with you. So this is using the verdigris, and I'll just show you what that looks like. So it's just like the rust. Give it a good shake. But it looks really thin. Looks deceiving. I assure you. When I first saw it, I thought, oh god, it's just a dye. But no, this stuff's absolutely awesome. It's as good as the rust. Just wait and see. There we go. So bear with me. As you can see, it's gone that really nice copper green colour, and it looks like an ancient Chinese piece of bronze. It's just, it's unbelievable. Alan's done a brilliant job of designing this stuff. I'm really pleased with it. Puts a smile on my face, just like the rust did for the first time when I first saw it. So I am sold on that. But yes, that's that banner done. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get started on doing all the swords, and I will be back with you when that's done. Okay, see you then. Oh, I love this. I love doing the weathering. It makes me really happy. It makes everything feel worthwhile. But I have just done all the swords. I was going to chip them up a bit. But I think I've decided against it. I quite like the idea that they're constantly rusty, even when the metal does come to bear, because they're demon weapons, they just get rusty again. And maybe that's why they're such a weird, twisted, kind of gnarled shape, just because they're constantly rusting. So that would explain why they're poisoned weapons in the game. Okay, cool. So that is basically them done. But there's something else I want to do. Now they've got a lot of guts kind of hanging out, and I think, as Harlequin Hand quite nicely pointed out, they look a bit dry. So it'd be cool to make them look all shiny and gory. So I'm going to use the shiny gore paint itself, Tamiya Clear Red X27. This is the paint for zombie players, for Nurgle players, for anyone that's going to be painting a lot of blood, guts and gore. It's definitely what you need. So if I open that up, you're going to really see why. So it's just a really sticky, disgusting. I'm going to carry on with the banner because he's fun. But yeah, there you go. So as you can see, hopefully, it's just quite a realistic, sticky, gory paint. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on all these, and then I will come back to you in just a second when that's all done. It's official, they're done. They're actually finished now, there's no more to do on them, they're done. And I really enjoyed them. So yeah, I went over them with that Tamiya Clear Red. As you can see, it just gives them a bit more shine, it gives them a bit more depth, and it's just something else. It's another level of interest to look at, just something interesting to look at. So I finished the bases off. I used the Games Workshop Middenheim Grass Tufts, I think they're called, and also their Scorched Grass. Pretty basic stuff. But there we go. So I hope you've enjoyed that how-to. If you have got any questions about anything I've done, the models, how they were to put together, how the materials are to use, where you'd buy stuff, any questions at all, just stick a comment in the comment box below. Please don't forget to hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more how-tos. Expect to see a showcase of some Nurglings and a Soul Grinder soon. I won't be doing how to paint videos for those because it just uses the same techniques as this one. So cheers for watching guys, play it safe, and I'll see you all soon.